Everyone, my name is Deanna Chapman, and I am here with the ServSafe Certification Program, and I'm here to teach you about food safety. ServSafe is a certification on food safety to prevent foodborne illnesses. A foodborne illness is a disease that is carried or transmitted to people or by food that they have ate. The three topics I'm going to be covering today are personal hygiene, cross-contamination and allergens, and time and temperature abuse of foods. The first of those that I'm going to be speaking about is personal hygiene. There are 5 steps to personal hygiene to keep in mind. The first and most important is washing your hands. The second is showering before coming to work, having clean and dry clothes before coming to work, wearing gloves while at work, and wearing protective hair nets. When washing your hands, it is important that you wash your hands with water that is 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and you wash your hands for 15 seconds. A rule of thumb for washing your hands is that you sing the happy birthday song twice in your head, and that's how long it should last. You should always wash your hands before coming to work, when you're at work, if you have to, sneeze, cough, use the restroom. If you're handling money and then going to handle food, it's important that you're always keeping up on washing your hands. By the time your work shift is over, your hands should almost be so dry that they hurt because you've washed your hands so much. Before coming to work, some steps you can take to prevent bringing in dirt and dander are taking showers immediately before coming to work, not in the morning and then coming to work at night. Always take it immediately before coming to work, and having clean and dry clothes. This again just stops dirt and dander from coming outside the store and bringing it in and contaminating the food. While at work, it is important that you're wearing gloves through all operations of the food. If you have noticed that your glove has a tear in it, if it seems extra dirty for some odd reasons, always just take them out. There's different sizes so they can fit you. The work establishment should always supply them. When taking off your gloves, you want to wash all the time between sets of gloves, and you can never wear a glove for more than 4 hours. Generally, you're going to change it before then, but if you're doing a job that's not that dirty, such as handling money, make sure you're changing it every 4 hours. Other than that, it's important to have girls or boys, if you have long hair, to wear it in a ponytail or have it pulled back. Hats are acceptable, visors, hairnet, and they do make beard nets for facial hair, so it's important that you wear those and follow those rules in any establishment. That prevents hair and just stuff like that from falling into the food and being a physical contamination. The second topic of ServSafe I'm going to talk about today is cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is just mixing of foods that shouldn't be mixed, and then they cause microorganisms to react and cause a foodborne illness. So ways to prevent those in the workforce: I'm sure many of you guys have seen it in restaurants. They have cutting boards that are color-coded. Red is for red meats, green is for vegetables, and so on. Those should never be used. You should never use a red cutting board for veggies or anything like that. That is a cross-contamination. Second, you should always use clean utensils at all times. Utensils should always be fresh. You should never use, if you're doing cutting chicken and you're cutting old chicken and you have a knife and you get new chicken out, you need to get a new knife. That's just a rule of thumb to always go by. If you get a new piece of food or anything like that, new vegetables, get new utensils, including keeping up washing with the cutting boards. And also, mixing food needs to be just kept separate unless they're being cooked together. So if you have raw chicken and then you have vegetables, those should never be close to each other or touching at all, because that is a cross-contamination and will cause a foodborne illness. Along with cross-contamination comes allergens. Especially in today's society, there's a lot of allergies that are arising. The typical mistake about what happens when when allergic reactions happen in food establishments, is just careless mistakes. People will say, a customer will say, "Hey, I have an allergy to tree nuts," and the waitress won't take the time to think this food was made originally with tree nuts, but you can't see them, if you guys get what I'm saying. So a lot of times just careless mistakes, making sure you're not using anything that touches just the food they're allergic to. I know you guys are a pizza establishment, and I did see out front that you have gluten-free crusts, and I'm sure you guys all have procedures to stop those, certain cutting boards, stuff like that. I see a lot of nodding heads, so I'm sure that's good. We want that. And then the third topic I'm going to be talking about is time and temperature abuse. This is one of the leading causes of foodborne illnesses, is not cooking the food to the appropriate temperature. The temperature danger zone is between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 135 degrees Fahrenheit. This is where microorganisms grow, so it's really important that you never leave food sitting in that temperature range, because that's when the microorganisms are going to grow. Especially in the temperature between 70 degrees and 125 degrees is whenever microorganisms grow. This is where, I'm sure you guys have all noticed the oatmeal cups in front of you. This is just an example of how fast microorganisms can grow on food. As you all seen when you first came in, this is just one little piece of oatmeal, and that is the microorganisms, say, on a piece of chicken that you have sitting out in 50-degree temperature, just sitting on a. And then here is it after a couple minutes, it's multiplied quite a bit. And then after probably about half an hour, if they're getting up to here, an hour has passed, you already almost have half a cup, a little over half a cup, and by 4 hours is all it takes, is to get this many microorganisms on your pizza, or food, or chicken, or whatever. That's how long it takes. These could all be potential foodborne illnesses, and that's just endless amounts of what you could be consuming as, you know, if you're making it for yourself, if you're making it for customers. That's the potential that you're giving them if you let that food sit out. Even if it cooks at 100 or 425 degrees, some foodborne illnesses do not get killed in ovens. So it's important that you just always keep in mind the temperature danger zone. Along with the temperature danger zone is internal temperatures. I'm sure that whenever you guys are putting foods out on your buffet, you use a lot of ground meat, a lot of chicken, and so on. That brings me to keeping internal temperatures right. This is a bimetallic stem thermometer. It's one of the most common. They're cheap to buy. They're easy to use. Pretty much what you do is, say you're cooking a piece of red meat, a steak, and you have it out on the grill and you want to check the internal temperature. So you're going to take the thickest part of that meat and you are going to insert the bimetallic stem thermometer into it and hold it for 15 seconds. And then if the temperature is still at 165, that's good. You're golden. So that brings me to the end of my speech. I appreciate all you guys for coming. I hope that you learned a lot. It's really easy to get ServSafe Certified. It's just a 10-week course, and you guys can all do it. I did it. It's fun. You get to learn about a lot of cool foodborne illnesses. You guys have any questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming and taking time out of your busy work schedules.
Thank you for coming.